What are the various ways of gaining knowledge? Or, you might say about life, gaining wisdom too. These are some thoughts of mine, age 62, former West Point graduate, combat arms in Germany, and 4 years mathematics part-time at Berea College, starting age 41. I suppose to start off with the typical trained professional approach or schooled approach, or given knowledge by a guru approach, or the download approach, in which one comes out then claiming to be a trained person. Rather like you might say an inoculation for COVID or some other illness possibly has trained you also, for a limited period of time anyway. I call this the brick and mortar approach to training, or rather knowledge. Then we've all heard the school of hard knocks approach. And you might say, thirdly, in my mind, the wonderful mother or wonderful grandmother who was very loving approach. Or fourthly, the religious training approach, in which one's religious figure or religious group, religious town, church, pastor, what have you, is your training source, which you download from the information that's supposed to give you a superlative edge on life, or empower you enough. There might even, on rare occasion, be those who say their knowledge source is inspired by divine sources, as per some say in the early Catholic Church era, up to maybe about the time of the Reformation, claiming they were simply programmed, so to speak, by a deity. Now, if one is going to acquire knowledge through, quote, the school of hard knocks, or through observation, also as part of that, for if one suffers little, what good is observing little, basically speaking? Life ought to be a laboratory that has some stimulation to it. But at any rate, I see the term sometimes autodidact, self-trained. Some might even say then self-made man, or self-made millionaire, what have you. Or pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, and so on. Or took charge of their life, or took back their power, or got empowered. All of these phrases referring to the concept, I believe, of the idea that one is autodidact in nature. There's even a website, IamAutodidact.com. As opposed to being told explicitly this knowledge that is supposedly kingpin and gold. I'd have just a few things to say then. Yes, life can be a great laboratory, but what of other factors as to how we process it? Do we have the feeling of safety to be efficiently operating in terms of our observations and what we remember? And note-taking considered also, and reviewing. A feeling of safety going through the school of hard knocks of life, or observing in general, is crucial to making it stick and processing it in general. Next, what good is the school of hard knocks if one doesn't have any tools mathematically, scientifically, and linguistically? Noting that mathematics and linguistics are high on the list for the philosopher Schopenhauer and some others. Next, I'd finally say, what good is observing and going through the school of hard knocks in general if the vocabulary one has to assign to various phenomenon, observations, what have you, in the people area is what I call free will oriented, and thus given to blaming, hostility, inappropriate expectations, and so on. All of these components then giving great insight, great growth, or not, concerning all forms of data intaking other than sitting in a classroom or being instructed in some other fashion, I think. This is my thoughts then on growing and learning.